It's getting ugly as the U.S. faces off against Russia. Russian President Vladimir Putin says he will not kick out American diplomats. Instead, he says he's taking the high road after President Obama moved to expel 35 Russian intelligence operatives. Putin added he's looking forward to restoring Russian-U.S. relations with the Trump White House. President Obama's Russian sanctions are the strongest action he's taken to retaliate for a cyber attack. He accuses Russia of interfering with the election by hacking American political sites and email accounts. Meantime, President-elect Trump says it's time to move on to bigger and better things. Still, Trump says he plans to meet with intelligence officials this week to be updated on the situation. The future of the U.S.'s relations with Russia is our topic this half hour. Joining us in the newsroom, our Fox 26 senior legal analyst Chris Tritico, Democratic media consultant Mustafa Tamiz, and Republican strategist and public policy analyst Jackie Bally. So where do we go from here?
You know, this is going to be a significant issue for President Trump to take on as soon as he's inaugurated. The Republicans in Congress are really in line with President Obama on this, more in line with President Obama than they are with President-elect Trump. And that's going to be a significant issue for President-elect Trump to deal with when he takes office, if he is of a mind, as he appears to be, Jackie, to try to undo what President Obama has done. On Friday night, Saturday morning, it was reported that the Russians had hacked into a Vermont electric company account, and could have undermined the electric grid. That's far deeper hacking than we've been dealing with before. Does this change President-elect Trump's thinking, or should it change President-elect Trump's thinking?
I don't think President-elect Trump is going to undo the sanctions that have been promoted or being implemented by our current president. However, I will say this, the Republicans have been in line with what the president is saying now, but they've been in line and saying this for 8 years. Congressman McCall, who is chairman of the Armed Forces Committee, has been warning our president for years of hacking. We've seen hacking with China. We've seen hacking with many other entities. However, it's now an issue. Some are saying political, because his candidate lost, and because his candidate lost because of hacking and the interference of our democratic system. So the timing of these sanctions, especially less than a month of him leaving, is more questionable. But this has been going on for 8 years, and it's very questionable as to why now he feels the need to have a hard line.
I don't get too far off topic, but the president did take action against China when they were hacking. Is President-elect Trump tweeted out and said very complimentary things to Vladimir Putin when he called him smart when he didn't retaliate. There are those in Congress that are saying that President-elect Trump is just being played by Vladimir Putin. Is that true?
Yeah. Well, we will see this. I think that when you look at these sanctions aren't as critical as the sanctions that were passed right after the Crimea invasion, because of that, the ExxonMobil deal, which was a $500 billion deal, didn't go through. And the thinking was that right after President Trump, after the 20th, and Rex Tillerson becomes the Secretary of State, that those sanctions will be lifted. Now it becomes harder for those sanctions to be lifted, and that's what's really hurting Russia. So these sanctions are not the ones that Putin's worried about. Putin's worried about those sanctions that happened right after Crimea.
All right, let me go to Sally. She's monitoring our social media.
And Donald Trump praised on Twitter Putin when he decided that he would not kick out American diplomats, calling him a smart man. Here we're looking at our Fox 26 Facebook page. Elmer says, a real traitor even after Russia's foreign government meddles in the U.S. election despite results. He called him a name there, an ignoramus, and said he should not be president. But on the other side, we have Tammy there, and she says, good for Donald Trump, very mature on Russia's side to not fall for Obama's baiting. I can't wait to see Obama out of the White House and no longer able to influence our government.
That kind of shows the divide we have in the country, doesn't it, right there? Are the Republicans and the Democrats who are saying Donald Trump's being baited by Vladimir Putin, are they correct?
No, they're not. Donald Trump is quite smart as far as reading people. You can see that from his negotiation skills, and he's going to be very smart in playing with Putin. I think his comments, because I agree with his comments, his sentiment in a way. I think you've seen the relationship with Obama and Putin throughout the last 8 years. They've gone back and forth, and that's just just him continuing to, him as in Putin, making a mockery of Obama. So the fact that he did that, the president, after 8 years of saying, we've said, you need to have a hard line with Russia. You brought up China. He never did that with Russia until now. And now he's saying 30 days before I leave office, I'm going to have a hard stance. Putin said, I really don't care. You're a lame duck.
Yeah. Well, I think that the sanctions that were put on Russia after Crimea's invasion really devastated Russian economy, and that's been the Putin's problem, and that's why they were so aggressive about trying to meddle with our elections, and we'll learn more about that as we go forward. The biggest issue that I think our nation faces is that we've gotten into a cycle where we're so polarized that we cheer more for our party than for our country, and we've got to start getting beyond that on both sides of the aisle. I think that that's not just a Republican thing. I think it's starting to be more of a Democratic thing too, and we've got to get beyond this, because this is what's hurting our country more than anything else. When a foreign government comes into the United States and hacks into our system and we're not able to see that, that means that we've got real problems.
We also need to remember that we're going to need help with China, and we're going to need Russia's help with China. So for all of those people who are saying that Trump is being played, he's looking at that, and he's actually, I suspect, going to play Putin. But we really won't know until he gets into office.
All right, we're going to leave it right there. I hope everybody had a happy and safe New Year's Eve, and have a great and prosperous New Year. Sally, we're going to leave it right there, and we'll see you next week, wrapping up the hottest stories of the week.
All right, Happy New Year to all of you.